17 caregivers had quit in 8 months, and the 18th was about to walk out the door when Marcus Webb arrived for the interview that would change both their lives forever. The mansion on Ridgewood Hill sat behind iron gates that seemed to warn visitors away rather than welcome them, and every person who had worked inside those walls left with the same story: Vivian Ashford was impossible. Cruel, even. A woman who had built a shipping empire worth billions, who had once commanded boardrooms with a single glance, now sat trapped in a wheelchair after a car accident stole the use of her legs 3 years ago, and she seemed determined to make everyone around her suffer as much as she did. If you believe people deserve a second chance, even when the world has given up on them, hit that like button right now, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and subscribe to Kindness Vault so you never miss a story like this one. Marcus Webb needed this job desperately. His daughter Harper was 8 years old, and after her mother left them 2 years ago, it had been just the two of them against the world, scraping by on temp work and the kindness of a landlord who let the rent slide when things got tight. When the staffing agency called about a live-out caregiver position paying triple his usual rate, he almost said no. He'd heard the rumors about the Ashford estate, how nobody lasted more than a week. But rent was due, and Harper needed new shoes for school, and pride was a luxury he couldn't afford anymore. The housekeeper who let him in, a tired-looking woman named Dolores, warned him quietly in the hallway. "She'll test you in the first 10 minutes. Say something cruel, try to make you quit. Don't take it personal. Just, don't let her see it land." Marcus nodded, though nothing could have prepared him for the woman he found in that sunlit study, her silver-streaked hair pulled back severely, her eyes sharp as broken glass, sizing him up like he was a stray dog that had wandered onto her property. "Another one," Vivian said flatly, not even looking up from the papers in her lap. "Let me guess. You need money, you'll smile a lot, and you'll be gone within the week like the rest of them." Marcus didn't flinch. He simply said that he needed the job, yes, but that he wasn't planning on smiling if there was nothing to smile about, and he wasn't planning on leaving either, because his daughter was counting on him. Something in Vivian's expression flickered, just for a second, before the coldness slid back into place. Over the following days, Marcus discovered the job was every bit as difficult as the warning suggested. Vivian snapped at him over cold coffee, accused him of pitying her, threw a book across the room when he tried to adjust her blanket without asking. But Marcus had learned patience the hard way, from months of sleepless nights walking the floor with a colicky infant, from years of being both mother and father, and he simply kept showing up, steady and unshaken, treating her outbursts the way he treated Harper's tantrums, not with anger, but with quiet, unwavering presence. It was on the 9th day, while organizing scattered files on her desk, that Marcus saw it, a small, weathered photograph tucked beneath a paperweight, half hidden as though someone had wanted to keep it close but couldn't bear to look at it directly. It showed Vivian, years younger, laughing on a beach with a little girl in her arms, both of them sunlit and impossibly happy. Marcus asked, gently, who the child was, and the silence that followed was so heavy it felt like the room itself was holding its breath. Vivian's voice, when it finally came, was barely above a whisper. The girl was her daughter, Josephine. She had died at 6 years old, a fever that turned into something the doctors couldn't stop in time, back before Vivian had built her empire, back when she still believed love could protect the people she cared about. She told Marcus that after Josephine died, she poured herself into work because grief was easier to outrun than to face, and somewhere along the way she became the kind of person who scared everyone away before they could leave her first. The accident that took her legs, she admitted, had almost felt like punishment, like the universe finally collecting a debt she owed. Marcus sat with her in that silence, not offering hollow comfort, not rushing to fix what couldn't be fixed. He simply told her about Harper, about the fear that lived in his chest every single day that he wasn't enough, that he'd fail her the way the world had failed him. He told her that love didn't come with guarantees, but that pushing everyone away didn't bring anyone back either, it just meant facing the emptiness alone. For the first time in 3 years, Vivian Ashford cried in front of another human being, and Marcus simply stayed, present and unafraid of her pain. Something shifted after that day. It was slow, the way healing always is, Vivian started asking about Harper, then asking to meet her, and when the little girl skipped into that sunlit study with a drawing she'd made specially for the lady Daddy takes care of, Vivian held that crayon picture like it was made of gold. She began joining Marcus and Harper for dinner instead of eating alone in her room. She started physical therapy again, not because doctors demanded it, but because for the first time in years, she had a reason to fight for a future instead of merely surviving her past. Months later, Vivian actually stood, with the help of parallel bars and months of grueling therapy, at Harper's school talent show, tears streaming down her face as she watched the girl who had become like family to her sing off-key and utterly joyful on that stage. She had started a scholarship fund in Josephine's name for children who'd lost parents to hardship, and she'd made Marcus not just her caregiver, but the manager of the foundation, trusting him with her legacy the way she'd once trusted no one at all. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder that it's never too late for kindness to find its way in, and subscribe to Kindness Vault so we can keep bringing you stories like Vivian and Marcus's. And before we go, I have a special request. Type the word family in the comments below if you believe that sometimes the people who save us are the ones we never expected to let in. Vivian Ashford spent 3 years pushing the world away, convinced she deserved to be alone with her grief, until a tired single father with nothing to offer but patience and honesty saw a photograph she thought no one would ever notice, and in seeing it, he saw her, broken pieces and all, and loved her anyway. Sometimes the family we lose isn't replaced, but the family we find still teaches us how to live again, one small, stubborn act of kindness at a time.